Do you want more success, more growth, more results? Then it's time for the Boundless Success Accelerator from the Modern Observer Group. This isn't your average coaching program. It's where top performers come to dominate. Weekly group sessions, on-demand coaching, a community that's got your back, and a power-packed library of tools to supercharge your business and career. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get in, level up, and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Visit us at modernobserver.com/boundless success to join today. Let's get you to the next level. We're here because the news is being distorted. We're here because people are being inundated with misinformation on social media. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup.
This is the raw, naked truth.
Russia-Ukraine negotiations, another court win for the Trump administration, retail sales rise, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. President Donald Trump said he and Russian President Vladimir Putin made great progress despite reaching no deal on Ukraine after a nearly 3-hour meeting in Anchorage, Alaska on Friday. The two leaders delivered brief remarks afterwards, but took no questions and shared no specifics about their talks. There were many points that we agreed on, most of them, Trump said, but cautioned that there's no deal until there's a deal. Russia has agreed to allow the U.S. to provide security guarantees to Ukraine as part of ending the war, according to President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, who attended Friday's peace summit. The security guarantee would essentially treat Ukraine as a member of NATO in the event of a future Russian invasion. Article 5 of the NATO alliance treats an attack on one member as an attack on all. Ukrainian President Zelenskyy on Saturday outlined firm conditions for a real peace ahead of a high-stakes meeting with President Trump today. Zelenskyy posted to X following his calls with Trump and European leaders. The positions are clear. A real peace must be achieved, one that will be lasting, not just another pause between Russian invasions, Zelenskyy wrote. Killings must stop as soon as possible. The fire must cease, both on the battlefield and in the sky, as well as against our port infrastructure. All Ukrainian prisoners of war and civilians must be released, and the children abducted by Russia must be returned. President Zelenskyy will meet with President Trump today at the White House. European leaders who could be part of a Ukraine security pledge have also been invited to the meeting. The United States has ordered air and naval forces to the southern Caribbean Sea to address the growing threat posed by Latin American drug cartels. Sources said the deployment included more than 4,000 Marines and sailors, several P-8 spy planes, at least one warship, and at least one attack submarine. Officials said the process would continue for several months in international airspace and waters. President Trump has made cracking down on drug cartels a central goal of his efforts to secure the U.S. southern border. Wonder Woman actress Gal Gadot returned to her homeland on Sunday to stand with grieving families at Hostages Square in Tel Aviv, widely regarded as the epicenter of Israel's hostage activism. The former Israel Defense Forces soldier and Wonder Woman star embraced those whose loved ones have been held by Hamas for nearly 2 years since the October 7, 2023 attack. Her vision coincided with Israel on Hold Day, a nationwide protest organized by the Hostages and Missing Families Forum, which is demanding the government prioritize negotiations for the release of the roughly 50 remaining hostages abducted during the Hamas-led assault. Nearly 20 are believed to still be alive. Families fear the government's recent approval of an expanded military campaign in Gaza, including a planned takeover of Gaza City, could endanger their loved ones rather than secure their release. As Israel prepares to expand its operations in the enclave, a quiet resistance is emerging against Hamas. In eastern Rafah, teachers are laying the foundation for the first schools focused on peace and tolerance under a non-Hamas civil administration. Samira Musa Mohammed Abu Mosa, one of the educators, told the Center for Peace Communications in an interview, "I despise Hamas because they were discriminatory. They were extremely biased, even when posting jobs. You had to have connections to get work." Her classroom has become a space where children are learning. During a recent lesson, she asked her students, "Is it okay to violate a girl's rights and lock her in her room?" The response was immediate. "No way," the kids replied. Everyone has the right for freedom. She emphasized the broader mission of education beyond academics. The State Department announced on Saturday that it was halting all visitor visas to individuals from Gaza while it reviews the issuing process. All visitor visas for individuals from Gaza are being stopped while we conduct a full and thorough review of the process and procedures used to issue a small number of temporary medical humanitarian visas in recent days, a post on X from the State Department read. Neither the State Department nor Secretary of State Marco Rubio commented on what triggered the sudden review. Sources have indicated that Hamas terrorists may be attempting to flee Gaza before Israel increases their activities in the Gaza Strip. A federal appeals court panel has cleared the way for the Trump administration to largely dismantle the work of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, lifting a lower court judge's injunction that had preserved the agency's structure and barred mass layoffs for months. The 2-1 ruling, authored by Judge Gregory Katsas, said a series of legal defects in the lawsuit brought by the CFPB employees and the NAACP doomed the case and required the district court judge's blockade to be lifted. Katsas, a Trump appointee, said the fatal flaw was the broad challenge against what the employees described as a master plan to shutter the agency altogether. While individual layoffs or contract terminations may be challenged in court, Katsas wrote that the sweeping directive to close the agency, alleged in the lawsuit, was not something the courts could review, particularly because it was unclear that the administration had made a final decision to carry out the closure. U.S. retail sales gained more than expected last month, up 0.5%, and June's figures were revised higher, showing that Americans were feeling financially secure enough to spend on a broad range of goods this summer. Other data released, however, suggested more penny pinching may be ahead. U.S. consumer sentiment fell in August after climbing every month since May, and expectations for inflation jumped. Nearly 60% of Americans plan on curbing spending this year, the most recent University of Michigan survey found. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcast app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.